how does the establishment of the so-called Morag Axis impact the humanitarian situation and the broader Israeli-Palestinian conflict?
Certainly, Israel is trying to close all the accesses that could be used as a means to extend the live veins into the strip. Israel is to continue to the systematically of starvation as a means of the collective punishment. In addition, a means of genocide and returning the life in the strip to the inviable and trying to force the people to far places out of the border, which is the strategic goal of the far-right government to displace the people outside of the strip. So that has a clear means to block all the accesses of the assistance provided to the Palestinian and spoil all the possible means for the assistance in the strip and establishing a systematic mechanism of entering the humanitarian aids. And I think that everyone still remember that such attempts and threats were very clear from the beginning, following the October the 7th. There was an obligation by the Israeli officials to prevent the entry of the assistance, despite the regional and Egyptian effort. The humanitarian agent wouldn't have been entered in the Gaza Strip. So Israel is trying to close the only corridor that isn't controlled by Israel, which is Rafah crossing, and trying to close it several times until the occupied the Palestinian side of the crossing but managed to block the last life veins that could be provided for the people of the Gaza Strip.
Now, reference to Israel intensifying its fire belts on northern Gaza, specifically targeting Dar al-Arqam school in Al Tufah neighborhood. How do you interpret this?
Firstly, Israel do not oblige with any humanitarian standards nor the international convention is trying to bombard in schools, hospitals, killing the medical crews and relief as well as the civilians. These are war crimes against the humanity committed by Israel throughout the hours, targeting schools and the establishment. It is an ultimate goal for the Israeli occupation that destroyed all the educational systems in the strip that represent a systematic destruction of the sector, which is a great part of the system of the Israeli goals. In addition, that schools represent refugees for several fled families of different places of this strip. Therefore, when Israel is targeting such schools, is achieving double goals. So the first one is to destroy the future of the strip, and hundreds of thousands of the students never found places for education in the future, and destroying all the means of sheltering to these fled families. And I think that the goal became very clear before the whole world that the Israeli government would not avoid the ultimate target of the displacement, and in order for the people to survive and to go away of the drastic conditions of the people suffered throughout the more than 15 months.
Dr. Osama, so Israel has announced that it has targeted 600 locations, paving the way for another ground operation. What are the strategic objectives behind this, and what's left more in the strip that Israel has not reached yet?
the main strategic goal for the occupation is to displace the Palestinians and push them to be exited out of the strip. It is the main goal and the first one since the 18th of March. But there is another set of goals, and I think that Israel is trying to use by the land operation and the intensified bombardment into the strip to release the detainees kept in captives in the Gaza Strip, and I think it is not going to lead to a very tangible objectives, the whole strip being destructive completely. The main goal for the occupation is to practice the pressure for the residents of the strip, along with Hamas and the international partners, to accept the presence of Israel permanently at the borders of the strip. In addition, to convince the Israel inside that there's a continued war and has no end, and therefore Netanyahu would keep the chances of staying in the government. In addition, to convince the United States that the war hasn't come to an end yet, and to guarantee the economic assistance and military assistance, along with the diplomatic and political coverage provided by the United States for the Israeli government.